Reva.
Yes, good evening to all. I hope I'm audible today.
Fixed part, and I will take the tablet chapter. Okay.
I hope that we have revised whatever was done in the previous lecture. And I hope we have revised and come, because at the end of the session, I will be taking revision of, we'll start in 2 minutes. No, I'll take a complete revision of all the 3 lectures. Okay. I have told you first only that with every increase in the lecture, I will be asking a revision of all the previous lectures that I have taught you, right? So, जो first lecture में पढ़ाया था, that will also be asked. So, and at the end, whoever gives the most number of answers gets something nice from my side. Okay. We'll wait for 2 minutes and then we will begin for today. Just allow me to share the screen.
Oh, sorry. I don't notice it. Oh, sorry. Okay, so this weekend.
Yes, well.
She's even movie.
Sorry, it's my husband. Yeah, I'm on my way.
Guys, if you are not speaking, then please put off your mics, everyone. Turn off your mics. Everyone, turn off your mics if you are not speaking. Yes, Pam, we can start.
Okay. Hi everybody. So today we will be starting off with the third lecture, my third session. And the first thing that I've written on the board is let's get a rank in top 100. This can be top 10 as well and top first as well, the first position. But right now let's aim at 100. है ना? So uske liye we need to work hard and we need to work smart. So that is why today we will be starting with all tables, right? Today we have most of them that we are going to conduct today the lecture. We will be having tables, right? So there is an enzyme classification IUB, okay, International Union for Biochemistry. So they have given a classification for enzymes, which is OUT-Hill. We all would have heard about OUT-Hill: oxidoreductase, transferase, hydrolase, isomerase, lyase, and ligase. Right. So, what is the question that are probably to be appeared from this part? Right. This, of course, is not enzyme classification is not important, but yes, you need to remember this order. Okay, that first is made. So it is not KSE randomly they have made a mnemonic. It is a order wise. Next, you need to remember its function. So when I talk about oxidoreductase, that means it is causing oxidation as well as reduction. So redox reaction. Both of the reactions are taking simultaneously. Transferase, transfer of a particular group. Hydrolase, cleavage of water molecules. So cleavage by the water molecules. You know what is hydrolysis? It involves cleavage of particular substances by water. Lysis, it is lyase means catalyzing addition of groups to double bonds. So simple language में double bonds बनना शुरू हो जाती हैं in lyase. There is formation of double bonds. Okay. Isomerase, we all are acquainted with the term isomerase. It is switching of the position of the group from one place to another place. Ligase, Fevicol is a ligase. It joins two things. Feviquick is a ligase. To join something is ligase, joining. Right? So you don't have to remember these definitions, only these words that I've underlined. Okay, you need to remember these words. That is suffice. Now the examples become of prime importance. Right? Translocase is not there in your this thing, so you can omit it. Oxidoreductase is, so in oxidoreductase, can we please mute
करूंगा ना सोचा तो था मैंने
Rohan Mehta, can we please mute? Thank you. So oxidoreductase mein we have examples of lipooxidases, dehydrogenase, and glucose oxidase. So it is GOD, glucose oxidase, right? So it is an enzyme that is involved. We have a lot of assays as well for this enzyme. So your glucometry or diabetic test is somewhat related to glucose oxidase enzyme also. Okay. In transferase, we will have a group or a name trans in the enzyme name itself. So aminotransferase kinase, then there is hexokinase. These are all transferring groups. Hydrolase, that is carrying out the cleavage of substance by water molecules. So we have lactase, right? Can somebody tell me lactase breaks down what into what? Lactase, naam sun ke kya lagta hai? What do we think? Audience, public, what do we think? Lactase will do what will be the function of lactase? Will it break down lactose into glucose and galactose? Right? So lactose is a disaccharide made up of glucose, alpha D glucose and beta D galactose. Alpha D glucose and beta D galactose. Now this alpha beta, we have anomerism, right? We will be teaching you all epimer, anomers, and all those phenomena. So you need to remember this as well. And a protease name itself, proteins into peptones. So whatever molecules, biomolecules you're having, we have a particular enzyme to break those molecules. Trypsin. So we have trypsinogen to trypsin, chymotrypsinogen to chymotrypsin. Right? We have chymotrypsin also, that is very important nowadays. It's widely marketed as well, chymotrypsin. Lyases, we have decarboxylase. That is very prominent for lyase too. Okay, decarboxylation. All decarboxylation reaction are by lyase. Isomerase, we have triose phosphate isomerase. Can somebody tell me triose phosphate isomerase is in which cycle? Krebs cycle, glycolysis, urea, HMP, PPP, shunt. Which cycle? Why is the response so low today? Is everybody tired? Is everybody tired? College is high? I hope not. I hope we can spare some time, right? I am expecting a lot of replies from you. Don't disappoint me. है ना? Then we have topoisomerase. This is also very important enzyme, right? Topoisomerase. So we have topoisomerase inhibitors, right? Can somebody type them in the chat box? Anybody who knows the inhibitors topoisomerase? Have you heard about FQ? Fluoroquinolones? Fluoroquinolones. Have you heard about them? They are topoisomerase inhibitors. They are topoisomerase inhibitors. Okay. Next up, we have ligase. So ligase may we have all the things that will join. So glutathione synthetase and amino acyl tRNA synthetase. So this is involved in translocation, right? We all would have heard about central dogma. So now, have we heard about, yes, anti-neoplastic agent etoposide as well as a topoisomerase 2 inhibitor. So can you all tell me topoisomerase 1 inhibitor also? Since you all have told me 2 anti-cancer, there is topoisomerase 1 inhibitor as well. Anybody? Topotecan, irinotecan, very good. Topotecan, irinotecan are topoisomerase 1 inhibitor, right? And so this is what is important. Yeah, I was talking about central dogma. Have you heard about central dogma? So trans DNA, RNA, protein. DNA, RNA, protein, right? RNA. Which RNA? Which RNA? Messenger RNA, not tRNA, because tRNA will transfer the amino acid. rRNA is a ribosomal RNA. It is responsible for protein synthesis. But the messenger RNA is a primary intermediate in the translocation process, right? What is this called? This is transcription. And this is translation. Is it translation? Yes. I hope we know the central dogma. And this is basics. So this is what is appeared from this particular part. Now, next up, we have certain, okay, there is some lag from my side. Right. Next up, we have receptors. So we have a lot of receptors in our body, but the primary 4 types of receptors are ligand gated, G protein, receptor kinases, RTK, you also call as RTK, receptor tyrosine kinases, and nuclear receptors, right? So ion gated can be 2 types, ligand or voltage. Okay, ion gated can be 2 types, ligand gated or VGIC or LGIC. VGIC or LGIC, voltage gated or ligand gated. We also have mechanical gated ion channels. Okay, there, so hair, जो आपके hair है, this mechanical is involved over there. So ligand gated and voltage gated are 2 types. You need to remember these 4 points, क्योंकि आपके जो questions है, they will directly come from this table. Trust me, इस table से आएगा. Like 1-2 points are missing, but that you can study from the KD Tripathi. Like G protein is a transmembrane heptahelical heptahelical receptor, right? It has 7 pass receptor. We call it as 7 pass. So they all are membrane receptors except the nuclear. Naam mein hai na, it is a nuclear. Nucleus is present inside the cell. It is not present outside the cell, right? So intracellular. Rest all in membrane. Effector. So here we have ion channels, sodium, potassium, calcium. है ना? These all. Sodium channels inhibitor. Can you all give me examples of sodium channel inhibitors? Can you all give me examples of sodium channel blockers and the category in which they are used? We have 2 categories. Let me see कि हमारे पास कितने smart बच्चे हैं. We have 2 categories of sodium channel blockers. मतलब they are used in 2 indications. Anybody who can tell me? So yes, anti-arrhythmic, very good, and local anesthetics and anti-epileptics. Excellent, excellent. क्या बात है? You all gave me 3 categories: local anesthetics, epilepsy, and so we have phenytoin in epilepsy. We have quinidine in anti-arrhythmic, quinidine, procainamide, disopyramide, lidocaine, है ना? All those drugs. And in local anesthetics, we have bupivacaine, mepivacaine, propoxyphene, xylocaine, है ना? Lot. So these drugs we have. Potassium channel blockers. Can you give me examples of potassium channel blockers? Jaldi se, why is the YouTube so shant today? Can you give me examples of few potassium channel blockers? Nobody remembers? Nobody remembers my favorite drug, amiodarone. Amiodarone is a potassium channel blocker. Okay. Spironolactone, yes, spironolactone is also potassium, but is it a potassium channel blocker or potassium sparing? Somebody has written Alphia. I hope we are aware. Guy, this is what I tell. Haste, don't haste, है ना? Potassium sparing diuretics. I am also like you only. I also haste and ghai ghai mein I give wrong answers many times. Potassium sparing. It is not potassium blocking. है ना? Spironolactone is potassium sparing. It is a prodrug. Active metabolite is candrenol. है ना? But your amiodarone is a potassium channel blocker. So moving on, can you all give me examples of calcium channel blockers? Yeah, dronadarone is a congener of amiodarone. अच्छा, amiodarone में कितने iodine है? Amiodarone has how many iodine? Medichem. Let me see how many people have good Medichem. Amiodarone has how many iodine molecules? Iodine molecules कितने हैं? Good, very good. And calcium channel blockers के example. Somebody said 4. Somebody said 4, I think so. Isn't it 2? Isn't it 2? Amiodarone का structure देखा है? Have you heard about? Have you seen the structure of amiodarone? There are 2 iodine molecules. There are 2 iodine molecules, not 4. Verapamil, diltiazem are calcium channel. Shabash, all the diphines, right? Protein kinases. So here the effector is protein kinase, and here it is gene transcription. So we have different transcription factors: CREB protein, NF kappa B, and nuclear factors and all, and fat. जो gene expression at epigenetic level. So that is not required at your point, but just remember. Next up, we have coupling is not important, but here you have to remember that here DNA is involved, right? क्योंकि nuclear level पे so DNA will be involved. And example, steroid. All your corticosteroids, all your prednisolone, betamethasone, every corticosteroid is involved over here. If I talk about receptor kinases receptor, so we have JAK-STAT, we have insulin, right? Have you heard about insulin? Insulin, right? So insulin. Next we have cytokine receptors. So cytokine receptors are involved in inflammatory mediators, right? Can you tell me an inhibitor of leukotriene? Leukotriene antagonist. Can you give me example of a leukotriene antagonist? Can you give me example of leukotriene antagonist? Category में बता देता हूँ. Very good. Montelukast, Zafirlukast. Montelukast, Zafirlukast. G protein में we have all muscarinic receptor, and एक important point. All your serotonin receptors belong to the GPCR except 5-HT3, which is involved in your vomiting, emesis. Except 5-HT3, all your serotonin receptors belong to the GPCR. The 5-HT3 belongs to the ligand-gated channels. So you have nicotinic, acetylcholine, nicotinic acetylcholine receptors, GABA A. Ab GABA B falls in GPCR, okay? So you would have heard GABA A and GABA B. There are 2 isoforms, like your benzodiazepine barbiturates. So, can somebody tell me that benzodiazepine and barbiturates, which is the category that increases the pore opening frequency? This is a GPAT question. This was a GPAT question. Excellent. Your benzodiazepine increases the pore opening frequency, BZD. Pore opening frequency, and the pore opening duration is increased by barbiturates. Okay? So benzodiazepines में basically you would have heard about diazepam, oxazepam, lorazepam, and clonazepam, alprazolam, midazolam. Barbiturates में we have phenobarbital, methylbarbital, pentobarbital. So एक है जो frequency बढ़ाता है, मतलब suppose there is a gate, one person opens the gate again and again, frequency. And duration, one person has kept the gate open for a very long time, so there is lot of influx of chlorine channels, right? GABA gated chloride channels. They are GABA gated chloride channels, right? Cl minus. That's the reason there is an inhibitory activity, right? GABA is an inhibitory receptor, right? Glutamate inhibitory है या excitatory है? Is glutamate inhibitory receptor or an excitatory receptor? Can somebody tell me? Excitatory. Very good. I hope we are fresh enough and हम अच्छे से answer कर रहे हैं, right? Moving on, we have a table of competitive and non-competitive inhibitors. So there are a lot of these inhibitors that we have, but primarily competitive and non-competitive inhibitors के examples they are being asked, right? So here when we talk about okay. So here when we talk about endogenous substrate, so obviously cholinesterase, acetylcholinesterase. So how many types of cholinesterase do we have? How many types of cholinesterase do we have? कितने टाइप की cholinesterase है हमारे बॉडी में? कितने टाइप के cholinesterase है हमारे बॉडी में? True and pseudo. Pseudo is also called as butyrate. I hope we are aware. Very good. क्या बात है? You are answering very well. and it is present in plasma. The pseudo one is present in plasma. Okay, so it is true cholinesterase and pseudocholinesterase. So acetylcholine is a substrate, and we have physostigmine as a component. Can we please mute? Can we please mute everybody? Physostigmine is a competitive inhibitor of acetylcholine, right? So physostigmine. Okay, next up we have MAO enzyme, right? Have you heard about MAO A? There are two types of MAO. Which causes cheese reaction? Which MAO causes cheese reaction? Let me see how many people can answer this. Which MAO enzyme causes cheese reaction? Which MAO enzyme causes cheese reaction? MAO B causes cheese reaction. No. MAO A causes cheese reaction. MAO B is used in which category? MAO B inhibitors are used in Parkinson's. Do we know any drugs that are MAO B inhibitors? Have we heard about any drugs that are MAO B inhibitors? MAO B inhibitors के example, rasageline, selageline, right? And if I talk about tolcapone, entacapone, they are which inhibitors? कौन सी enzyme को inhibit करते हैं? Tolcapone, entacapone. COMT, catechol orthomethyl transferase, very good, very good. So MAO A inhibitors are used in depression. अब देखो दोनों MAO ही है, लेकिन MAO A की the category of MAO A is depressant and MAO B की Parkinson, right? Depressant में anybody who can give me examples of MAO A drugs? Moclobamide. Have you heard about moclobamide, chlorgyline? Moclobamide and chlorgyline, they are MAO A inhibitors used as antidepressants, right? Next we have dopa decarboxylase inhibitor, again we have levodopa. Does levodopa cross the blood-brain barrier, or is it given with some drug? Levodopa is given with some drug or it crosses the blood-brain barrier? Batao. Can somebody tell me? Does very good. I am very happy. YouTube pe I'm getting good response. What is wrong with Zoom? Why are we not replying fast? Very good. Carbidopa. So levodopa is given with carbidopa. Cocadopa. The term is cocadopa, right? So because carbidopa will inhibit the peripheral decarboxylase, so levodopa will not be breakdown, and zyada levodopa will be able to reach the blood-brain barrier, right? Next we have xanthine oxidase, allopurinol. We all would have heard about this drug. कल भी आया था allopurinol, है ना? Suicidal inhibition में, when I was teaching us suicidal inhibition, allopurinol appeared. It has great importance, and the substrate is H, hypoxanthine, right? ACE inhibitors, we all know captopril में कौन सी ring है? Which ring is present in captopril, and which group is present in captopril? Which ring is present in captopril and which group is present in captopril? Sulfahydryl group. Sulfur, no, big mistake. Sulfur group नहीं, sulfahydryl group. Sulfur सिर्फ S होगा. Thiol, sulfur, sulfahydryl is different. But good attempt, good one, good try. I want कि तुम try करो, because whenever you give wrong answers, वो जरूर याद रहती. Right answers you may forget, but जब हमने कोई answer wrong दिया होता है, that we always remember, right? So yeah, I was asking sulfahydryl and pyrrolidine, right? Pyrrolidine ring है उसमें. 5-member ring with no double bonds, right? If I add double bonds, ये कौन सी ring हो जाएगी? If I add double bonds, which ring is it? Which ring is it? Which ring is it? Yes. Can we reply first? Pyrrolidine. Very good. Next we have 5-alpha reductase inhibitors. So 5-alpha reductase and aromatase. These two are associated with testosterone, estrogen. है ना? So when I convert testosterone, okay, let me take a new slide, because this is a very important concept. I need to teach you all अच्छे से. Right? तब तक when I'm opening a new slide, can you tell me testosterone to dihydrotestosterone? Can we please mute Mr. Adil Rashid? Can you please mute? So testosterone to dihydrotestosterone, and we have estrogen. So we have two different enzymes and two different targets. So testosterone से estrogen जो enzyme convert कराती है, it is aromatase. Very good. On YouTube, people are answering. Tejaswini, Ritika, Priya, Vikas, very good. And testosterone to dihydrotestosterone, we have 5-alpha reductase. Please make this table. This is a GPAT. This has been asked in GPAT. 3-4 बार this has been asked. Okay, do not take it lightly. And we tend to forget. दोनों ही testosterone से ही disrupt करते हैं, but one inhibits conversion into estrogen, while the other inhibits conversion into dihydrotestosterone, which is the active form of DHT, which is active form of testosterone. And a 5-alpha reductase inhibitor we have finasteride. Aromatase inhibitor का example दे सकते हो? Aromatase inhibitor के example Can you hear me now? Because there is somebody who was talking, so now he's mute. I hope you can hear me now. Can you give me example of aromatase inhibitors? Nobody. किसी को aromatase inhibitors नहीं याद है. अच्छा, tell me what is anastrozole, letrozole? Very good. Anastrozole, letrozole. What is tamoxifen? What is tamoxifen? Tamoxifen क्या है? What is tamoxifen? Tamoxifen. Sir, selective estrogen receptor. Is it modulator? Very good. Very good. And which is a down regulator? Which is a selective estrogen receptor down regulator? एक तरह के. Let me see how many people can answer. YouTube पे also I'm waiting. है ना? How many people knows selective estrogen receptor down regulator? Very good. Excellent, Manisha. Fulvestrant. Fulvestrant is a selective estrogen receptor down regulator. Very good. Good going. अच्छे जा रहे हैं. Very good. Good speed. चलो. है ना? So this was it from a particular. When we have folic acid, so folate synthesis, the substrate is PABA. PABA, and obviously all sulfonamides. All your sulfonamides. Sulfonamides causes which adverse reaction? I had taught you all in the last chapter, in your last lecture. Sulfonamides causes which syndrome? Starting from S. Stevens-Johnson syndrome. Does it causes crystalluria? Does it causes crystalluria? Does it causes crystalluria as well? Okay. Okay. Good going. Good one. Chalo. Connectores. Connectores has something to do with jaundice and bile because it alters the bile, like icterus. Icterus means jaundice. Okay. Icterus is another name for jaundice. So we will be sending you all mock, and one of the question in the mock is on icterus as well. So let me see how many people will be answering this in the mock, right? And I have deliberately added this question in the mock. So crystalluria, Stevens-Johnson, and connectors. Next up, we have non-competitive inhibitors. So आपको examples के ही नाम याद रखने हैं कि which is competitive and which is non-competitive. ये जो सारे हैं ये competitive है. ये जो सारे these are non-competitive. Non-competitive में we have astazolamide, which is a carbonic anhydrase inhibitor. Right? They are used in two conditions. Can you all tell me? एक मैं बताता हूँ the simple one, hypertension as a diuretic, and other is let me see how many smart people we have. Glaucoma, excellent. Intraocular pressure कम करता है, IOP. So it is used in glaucoma as well. Brinzolamide, not acetazolamide, but the category carbonic anhydrase, brinzolamide with briminidone. It is widely eye drops present in the market. Then we have aspirin, inhibiting the COX enzyme non-selectively, COX-1, COX-2 inhibitor. Aspirin ka what is the secondary effect? What is the secondary effect of aspirin? What is the secondary effect of aspirin? In my class, you have to be very active. Every moment I will ask you all questions. Hai? So I expect you all to be very active. Good going, Ritika, Tejaswini. Good one on YouTube and very good. Antiplatelet agent, very good. And okay, dose bhi likh diya, 75 mg, very good. It is a plasma thinner. It is an antiplatelet agent. And what is the syndrome caused by aspirin? Which syndrome is caused by aspirin? Reis syndrome, excellent. Good going. Next, we have disulfiram. So I have already taught you about disulfiram, everything. It is an aldehyde dehydrogenase inhibitor. And what is alcohol dehydrogenase inhibitor? Which is inhibitor is alcohol dehydrogenase inhibitor? Jaldi se. We have less time. Very good. Formiprazole. Formiprazole is an alcohol dehydrogenase inhibitor. Next, we have hydrogen potassium ATPase pump. So omeprazole irreversibly blocks, but it is an irreversible non-competitive. And what is the active metabolite of omeprazole? Is it a prodrug? Is omeprazole a prodrug? Is omeprazole a prodrug, guys? Is omeprazole a prodrug? If yes, then what is the active metabolite? Sulfenic acid or sulfinamide? Sulfenic acid or sulfinamide? नहीं पता. Sulfinamide. Please study this and come. ठीक है? Sulfinamide पे there has been questions. Digoxin. Digoxin is a sodium potassium ATPase pump inhibitor. ठीक है, अभी ये पंप याद रखो, which is sodium potassium 2 chlorine inhibitor, which is sodium potassium inhibitor, which is hydrogen potassium inhibitor. 2 chlorine में which diuretic we have? Which diuretic we have? Loop diuretics, osmotic diuretics. Can you tell me sodium potassium 2 chlorine पे loop diuretics? Furosemide. Furosemide has which ring? Furosemide has which ring? Furosemide has which ring? Furan ring. Very good. Furan ring has synthesis. Aman sir has taught you all synthesis. Furan ring can be synthesized by which reaction? Furan ring can be synthesized by which reaction? Palnor. Very good. Very good. Palnor synthesis. So this is how you rank pharmacology, biochemistry, medicinal chemistry and organic chemistry, है ना? So जब आप पढ़ते हो आपको link करते पढ़ना है, not just one subject. Otherwise it is very boring, है ना? Good going everybody. Chalo. It's time to move ahead. Sildenafil, we all know it is a phosphodiesterase 5 inhibitor, but everybody thinks it is only for erectile dysfunction. Can you tell me the primary use of sildenafil? Can you somebody tell me the primary use of sildenafil? Is it for erectile dysfunctioning or is it for which hypertension? Pulmonary hypertension? Is it indicated in pulmonary hypertension? Yes, sildenafil, sildenafil, valdenafil, lot of congeners have come. Right, lovastatin is a HMG-CoA reductase inhibitor used as an hyperlipidemic agent. Right, statins may, which is a major side effect starting from R. Starting from very good. I like the speed. I like the speed of answer. This is how you should answer. Rhabdomyolysis. Right. Next up, we have PTU. PTU is basically anti-thyroid drug. So it is inhibiting enzyme thyroid peroxidase. Thyroid peroxidase enzyme, so it inhibits. Right. Then we have non-selective phosphodiesterase inhibitor, which is doxophilin, aminophilin, theophylline. Right. Are we done with this slide? Have we noted down? We'll going little fast, but I hope that we are understanding. If you all have any doubts anywhere, drop in the comment section, you know? And Zoom people, you all can drop in the chat box. Okay? Chale aage. So we have studied 3-4 slides till now, 3-4 good concepts. You know? Now let's move ahead. Something has gone wrong with my laptop today. The screen is not moving. Yeah. So we have numbers. Biochemistry mein there are few numbers that are frequently asked. Saponification number, iodine number, acid number, Polenske number, Recher-Messel number, right? So I hope that we are able to remember this definition and the indication both. ठीक है? ऐसे नहीं कि सिर्फ definition याद रखनी है. You also have to remember the significance. Very, very important. Like if I talk about saponification value. So saponification value is number of, can somebody please unmute? Yeah. Saponification number is number of milligrams of KOH required to saponify 1 gram of fat. Just word ko I have underlined, circled.
Unmute yourself, please, once.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I hope till when I was audible to you all. Last
No, I have muted everyone now. No one can unmute.
Thank you for the favor. So saponification value, we have number of milligrams of KOH required to saponify 1 gram of fat. The words that I've circled, only those are of primary importance. है ना? So these all numbers are useful when we are dealing with oils, fats. है ना? In our body also we have a lot of fats. PUFA, MUFA, polyunsaturated fatty acids, monounsaturated fatty acids. है ना? We have palmitoleic acid, palm oil सुना होगा ना? Palm oil. We have linolic acid, linolenic acid, arachidonic acid में which is the different metabolites form. What are the metabolites of arachidonic acid? And which are the drugs acting on this particular pathway? Let me see how many people have their pharmacology strong. Prostaglandin, thromboxanes, leukotrienes, very good. So all your COX logs, lipoxygenase, cyclooxygenase. So all your NSAIDs, aspirin, mefenamic acid, diclofenac, peroxicam will fall under this category, and your leukotriene antagonist will fall under this category, and Xilioton, 5-LOX inhibitor. है ना? So saponification value में this point you have to remember. Okay. So this image I've taken from Amit Verma book. So this is a very good book for NIPER. So those who are aiming for this, please refer to Amit Verma book. So indicates molecular weight. Higher the saponification number, lesser is the molecular weight. Inversely proportional है. क्योंकि more amount of KOH is required ना to saponify. तो obviously उसका molecular weight छोटा होगा. तभी ज़्यादा amount of लग रहा है KOH, right? It is a base. So please note this correlation. Next, iodine number. Now here, what is a major difference? Here it is not number of milligrams, it is number of grams. And this question has been asked in Manipal as well as CUET. Number of grams, not milligrams. And it is not 1 gram, it is 100 gram here. Number of grams of iodine absorbed by 100 grams of fats. And higher the iodine number, higher is the saturation, unsaturation. In one of the exam, there was a very tricky question. Higher the iodine number, greater will be the saturation, greater will be the unsaturation, lesser will. So you need to know this. कि iodine number ज़्यादा है तो unsaturated means there is more double bonds. There are more double bonds and triple bonds. So they might ask you in the question. वो लोग जानबूझ के to confuse you. They might not add unsaturation word. They might add saturation word. So you should be familiar with both of these terminologies, right? And it is used to prevent. And iodine number is used to detect again oil में adulteration वगैरह, right? Fats and oils. Then we have acid number. Acid is again like saponification number. They are bhai. They are siblings. Number of milligrams of KOH required to 1 gram, but to neutralize, not to saponify. Here it was saponify. Here it is neutralize. Okay, fine, finally. So sorry, everybody. So sorry for the glitch. I don't know. Yeah, but I hope that we could listen to rancidity value last. I think so that would be the last one, because after that I left the meeting. And so let's continue from acid number. Let's not break our to present it. Chalo, okay. Let's start. So we have acid number mein rancidity. It indicates rancidity, right? So our sub mein it is directly proportional except the saponification number. Now moving ahead, we have Polenski's value. Now this Polenski's number is very, very important. We are going to study these two numbers simultaneously. Polenski's and Richard-Missel number. So Polenski number and Richard-Missel number. One is used for soluble fatty acids and other is used for insoluble fatty acids. One is used for volatile, one is used for non-volatile. This is where they ask the questions. Richard-Missel, है ना? Richard-Missel soluble volatile. Polenski insoluble. So मैंने कैसे याद रखा था? PIN. Polenski insoluble non-volatile. है ना? You can remember your ways, but since I used to get confused in these two a lot. So Polenski insoluble fatty acids and non-volatile fatty acids. है ना? Similarly for research, Richard-Missel, obviously, so Polenski value will be 0 for your desi ghee, pure ghee. That is why we tell them that we should have consumption of pure ghee because it has a lot of good fats. Richard-Missel is, and here one important number that you have to remember, it is not KOH anymore. It is 0.1 normal KOH. It is not solid KOH. Here it was milligram, gram, milligram. But here it is ml. And how much ml? Of 0.1 normal KOH. And अब normal की बात निकली है. So can somebody tell me what is the molarity? I'll tell you all one formula. You have to tell me, is it molarity, molality, or normality? Number of moles of solute upon volume of solution. Number of moles of solute upon volume of solution. Is it molarity, molality, or normality? Very good, excellent is molarity. Number of moles of solute upon volume of solute. And okay, if I change this volume of solvent into mass of solvent, mass में बदल दिया तो liti, molality. Very good. I'm happy that your concepts is clear. So yeah, that was just an extra term from pharmaceutics, but I thought that I'll just explain all about that as well. Acetyl is not important. You can leave this. है ना? So this is one I hope now no more disturbances. So sorry, I don't know what is wrong today. Your net is continuously going because it was raining few days back. Chalo, okay, no worries. So here, let's be fresh. Let's not lose the link. है ना? Enzymes. So we were on enzymes and cofactors. Most of these is usually asked and they are directly cofactors questions. So you should be aware about the cofactors. Now, do we have to remember all? Yes, all are important. Iron is for cytochrome oxidase and catalase. Cu, copper is very specific cofactor for cytochrome oxidase enzyme. है ना? Zinc is very specific for carbonic anhydrase. Zinc is very specific for carbonic anhydrase along with DNA polymerase and all. Magnesium is specific for glucose 6-phosphate. Can somebody tell me G6PD deficiency is caused due to which drug? G6PD deficiency. Anybody who can help me out with G6PD deficiency? Koi hai? Any smart kid over here who can tell me what happened? Any smart kid who can tell me about G6PD? Which drug is used? Which drug has some serious issues with G6PD? Anti-TB drug. Okay. One drug. I want the name of that drug. Anybody who can tell me the name of that drug? Nobody. Isoniazid sulfonamides. Okay. Any anti-malarial drug? I'm expecting an anti-malarial drug. Anybody who can tell me who can tell about the anti-malarial drug? Okay. Quinine, chloroquine. Very good. Quinidine. Is quinidine an anti-malarial drug? Okay. One question. Is quinidine an anti-malarial drug or an anti-arrhythmic drug? Have we heard about two drugs, quinine and quinidine? Have we heard about two drugs, quinine and quinidine? I hope we have. Quinine and quinidine. Quinidine is anti-arrhythmic. Quinine is anti-malarial. Please be very clear. Which is dextroisomer? Which is a dextroisomer and which is a levoisomer of quinine? Which is a dextroisomer? Quinidine. Okay, quinidine. D है ना quinidine के spelling में. D stands for dextro. Simple. L है ना quinine के spelling ML. Malaria में जो quinine use होता है उसमें L है, levoisomer. Okay, please remember this very well. They ask about quinine also is their favorite question. Ahead we have pyruvate kinase. So pyruvate kinase is very important enzyme. Which in which cycle pyruvate kinase comes? कौन सी cycle में pyruvate kinase आता है guys? Do we know pyruvate kinase comes in which cycle? None of us know. Glycolysis, very good. Pyruvate किसको किस में convert करता है? What is the pyruvate kinase? Glucose 6-phosphate, fructose 6-phosphate, fructose 1,6 diphosphate, DAP, dihydroxyacetone phosphate, phosphoglyceraldehyde, 3-PGA, 2-PGA, 2-phosphoglyceric acid, 3-phosphoglyceric acid, PEPA, phosphoenol pyruvic acid, and then finally pyruvate. So PEPA to pyruvate is converted by pyruvate kinase, and pyruvate se lactate is formed in aerobic condition or anaerobic condition? Lactate is formed in aerobic condition or anaerobic condition? Aerobic or anaerobic? Very good. Lactate is in anaerobic condition. So Se, selenium is very specific for glutathione peroxidase, GPX. In short, they write GPX. It is official. So in exam, they will give you GPX. So you should know that GPX is glutathione peroxidase. Molybdenum is for nitrate reductase. Nickel is for urease. ये K तो बहुत easy है. Kinase का K, potassium, है ना? Nickel is for urease. And molybdenum is for nitrate reductase. Remember? We'll remember this. I hope we will remember this. है ना? Done. Now moving ahead to the next concept, which is biopharmaceutics. Now, biopharmaceutics is being asked not frequently, but there are 1-2 questions for sure from biopharmaceutics. One of them is on bioequivalence. Some of part will be taught by Praveen sir, but since it is related to pharmacology, so I'll be teaching all bioequivalence and bioavailability. So bioavailability के 2 types कौन से हैं? Can somebody tell me what is the 2 types of bioavailability? 2 types of bioavailability. Very good. Absolute on YouTube, the people are replying, even though there is a lag of 5 seconds, but here people are replying less. क्यों सो रहे हो? Why are we sleeping? Absolute and relative. ठीक है? So there are types of bioavailability. There are different formula. है ना? Area under curve of oral upon intravenous into dose of intravenous upon, this is the formula, into dose of intravenous upon dose of IV. This is the formula for absolute bioavailability. While relative is the ratio of the same form of the same formulation. है ना? Bioequivalence, the comparison of bioavailability of different formulation drug products or batches of the same drug. So suppose I have paracetamol, but a paracetamol ka tablet upon suspension if I'm taking, so it is like you can check out the relative bioavailability. And if you need a bioequivalence, so many a times when you want to like you want to just skip the clinical trials, so there are generic products that are introduced. So for generic products you need biowaivers. So what are those biowaivers granted upon? They are granted upon dissolution studies and bioequivalence studies, right? So bioequivalence, there are similarly three equivalents: therapeutic equivalence, pharmaceutical equivalence, and bioequivalent. Bioequivalent, therapeutic equivalent, and pharmaceutical equivalent. Therapeutic equivalent mein, it will have the same therapeutic effect. So if paracetamol is causing 80% reduction in pyrexia, so even paracetamol suspension will also cause a 80% reduction in pyrexia. That is a therapeutic equivalence. Bioequivalence, whose rate and extent of absorption is same. So suppose paracetamol is absorbed at a rate of 50% and it is absorbed around, suppose 60%. है ना? The extent of absorption is 60% and the rate is 50%. So its suspension form will also follow the same kinetics. While pharmaceutical equivalent, this was a GPAT 2024 question upon pharmaceutical equivalence. It is having same identity, strength, quality, and purity. Identity, strength, quality, purity. Done? Done? I hope we will remember this. I hope we will not forget this. है ना? I hope we will not forget this. Chalo then. Moving ahead, we have pharmaceutical alternative is also something that terminology, but it's not that important. But I will explain you all this also somewhat. So these alternatives are basically drug products that contain identical moiety, but its precursor form, just a tetracycline. So if I'm making a tablet of रोली tetracycline, तो अब रोली tetracycline तो pro drug है ना tetracycline का, but eventually after metabolism रोली tetracycline will get converted into tetracycline, so it will come as a pharmaceutical alternative. So for pro drugs, for salt forms like diclofenac, so you have diclofenac sodium salt, है ना? Anybody who knows example of any other salt? Let me see how many people have studied KD Tripathi. Anybody who knows the example of any other salt form, sulfate, succinate, chloramphenicol की कौन सी salt है? Chloramphenicol की which salt is there? Quinine hydrochloride, very good. But besides this, can you all tell me about the salt and chloramphenicol? I'm asking about chloramphenicol. Can you tell me, everybody? Everybody, please be awake. Please be live with me. है ना? We have to get a rank in a good position, so we need to work hard. है ना? Just few more time, just few more minutes. Don't leave the class. Chloramphenicol, palmitate, and succinate. Very good. Palmitate is for palatability. I will tell you all one trick today, जो आप कभी नहीं भूलोगे. You will never forget this. Palmitate and succinate. There are two forms of chloramphenicol, right? Inhibiting 50S protein synthesis. So palmitate, PP. Palmitate is for palatability. SS. Succinate is for solubility. याद रहेगा अभी? कभी भी मत भूलना. Palmitate is for salt. Any palmitic salt आप बनाते हो, it is mostly for palatability purpose. And succinate salt are usually for solubility purpose most of the times. You know, not always, but in most of the cases. So just remember this particular concept from biopharmaceutics, which is pharmaceutical equivalent, bioequivalent, pharmaceutical alternative, therapeutic alternative, and the types of bioavailability, because they are frequently asked in examination. है ना? अब modes of absorption की अगर मैं बात करूं, so have we heard about paracellular, transcellular, and vesicular. Paracellular, transcellular, and vesicular or corpuscular. सुना है हमने? Have we heard about these? Right? So paracellular is between the cells, intercellular. But transcellular is intracellular. Transcellular is intracellular. Transcellular, intracellular. Transcellular, intra. Para, inter. Please don't forget this. Vesicular is corpuscular. है ना? So in transcellular, again, we have active diffusion and passive diffusion. Now, can somebody tell me which is ATP dependent, which is a uphill transport, and which is a transport that takes place against the concentration gradient? चलो जल्दी जल्दी से बता दो. Which is this transport? That is ATP. It requires ATP. Very good. Active transport requires ATP. It is an uphill transport because it is against the concentration gradient. While passive does not require any ATP. It is a downhill transport and it is along the concentration gradient, along the high to low. है ना? What is the difference between osmosis and diffusion? What is the difference between osmosis and diffusion? Which is from high solute to high solvent, and which is from high solvent to low, high solute to low solute, and high solvent to low solvent. Tell me. Semi diffusion is from high to low. Osmosis is solute. Okay. High to low. What is high to low? What is high to low? If I take high to low solute ka diffusion, high to low solute ka hai. So what term will you use? Yes, you use a semi-permeable membrane in osmosis, but I'm asking, very good. So when I'm talking in terms of solute, it is high to low solute osmosis. है ना? So please remember osmosis and diffusion ka difference. So this is it from biopharmaceutical from my side. And Fick's law. Fick's law is the definition. You have to remember this formula. P is a permeability coefficient, or sometimes you also call it as partition coefficient. A is the surface area. D is a diffusion coefficient. This is a concentration gradient, higher minus lower, and H is the thickness of the membrane. Higher the thickness, lesser is the diffusion, or higher is the diffusion. Thickness मैंने membrane की बढ़ा दी, तो diffusion high होगा या low होगा? Thickness बढ़ा दी, thickness is increased. Very good. Lesser will be the rate of diffusion. This is basics. And sometimes you think ये तो बहुत चिंदी है, this will not come, but this only comes in examination. है ना? This all comes. है ना? So this was it from biopharmaceutical point of view. Now we have few concepts of organic chemistry. So for that you have to come with me on the whiteboard. Okay, for that you have to come with me in the whiteboard, but still it opens. Just tell me sp3 hybridization. sp3 hybridization mein what is the geometry? sp3 hybridization mein what is the geometry? I'm teaching you all one subject 15 minutes. I'm taking you all to the next subject in the next 15 minutes. The motto is that you should be able to quickly switch between subjects, because in the GPAT paper there will be 5 sections. If you would have seen the new paper pattern, there are 5 sections, A, B, C, D, E, right? So there will be switch questions. Like in one section there will be multiple types of subjects. So you should be your brain should be adaptive. कि हाँ अभी मैं बायोकेमिस्ट्री पढ़ रहा हूँ, तुरंत अगर मेरे सामने ऑर्गेनिक का क्वेश्चन आए, so I must be able to relate to that topic. So I was asking you all geometry for sp3, and many people have given the right answer, which is tetrahedral. And what is the bond angle? What is the bond angle? Is it 109.5 or 120? So there are 3 terminologies. I always teach chemistry on whiteboard because chemistry is a subject nobody should teach from PPT. SP linear, sp2 is trigonal planar, sp3 is tetrahedral. Bond angle, if I talk about, अगर मैं बात करूँ bond angle की, sp3 has 109.5 or 109.28, sp2 has 120 and sp has 180. ठीक है? Please make this table of hybridization This is very small, petty thing that we study in 11th, 12th. But now since the exam is by NBEMS, so they conduct NEET UG as well. So if you would have seen, physics, chemistry is their main domain. So they will move to the basics of chemistry. They will move to the basics of thermodynamics right from Gibbs free energy. Gibbs free energy, delta G is equal to delta H minus T delta S. And delta H is equal to delta U plus P delta V. And delta U is equal to Q plus W. So many a times they give you work done and the distance, or sometimes that you have to find delta U. Then after finding delta U, they will give you pressure, and then you will have to find delta H. And after finding delta H, you will have to find Gibbs free energy. So ये तीनों formulas are interlinked. Delta G, which is Gibbs free energy, is equal to delta H minus T delta S. So there is one concept of entropy. What is entropy? What is entropy? And is it under some law? Is it under someone's law? कोई law है क्या? Is there any law associated with this? Anybody? Anybody? Thermodynamics सबका weak है. Yes, there is a Hess law. Very good. There is a Hess law associated. And also there is spontaneous and non-spontaneous reaction. So there are, I will send one table, one photograph, because I don't think we'll be get time to teach that. But I will send you all, when I'm making this PPT, I'll send one photograph in that, I'll attach. You study that for image. It is sufficient for entire thermodynamics. Mostly usi se aayega, hai na? So you can study that image. It is, so you should know when is spontaneous reaction, when is it exothermic, when is it endothermic, when delta H is positive, when delta G is negative, what is when. So in that image, it is all given. But now we are not supposed to teach that, but since the topic was there, so I thought that I'll teach you. है ना? Done. So this was from geometry. So क्या मेरे screen पर अब chemistry भी दिख रही है तुम्हें? sp3 tetrahedral 109.5. And what is the percent S character? 25. कैसे मिला ये? SPPP. Everybody has 25. Simple. तोड़ के लिखो, every concept is easy. P3 है ना, तो 25 plus 25 plus 25, 75, 25 ratio. SP2. P2 ही है ना, तो अभी 100 divided by 3 कितना होगा? 33, 33, 33. So this will be 66 total. P character and 33 will be S. And SP में obviously 2 ही है, तो 50-50. है ना? So percent S character is also asked. Okay, we think that it is chindi, but it's not chindi, my friend. It is very important. Fischer's projection, Newman's projection, Haworth projection, Sawhorst projection, not frequently asked, not frequently asked, not frequently asked. So we can leave them, but at least we should be acquainted with the term isomers. Okay, isomers are of two types: constitutional isomers and stereoisomers. है ना? Stereoisomers are further divided into configurational and conformational. Configurational and conformation. So configuration में the interconversion from one form to another is high, while conformational में the interconversion is low, like cyclohexane to hexane. You know, suppose this is cyclohexane and this is hexane. So one is branched, one is linear and one is cyclic. So the interconversion energy is comparatively lower. But in configurational, we will study about the different configures, enantiomers, diastereomers, meso compounds. So there is difference in energy. So there is significance difference in the energy. Now configuration is, I'm so sorry, this chart is actually, the arrows are bit thoda sa teda meda, but it's okay. I hope we can adjust. Diastereomers are non-superimposable and they do not form mirror images. You know? While enantiomers are non-superimposable, but they form mirror images. है ना? You can take example of your hand. एक hand को दूसरे hand पे superimpose कर सकते हैं क्या? When we see in the mirror, is it possible? Is it possible? So non-superimposable, but they are mirror images. Similarly, in dyes, again, when we categorize few isomers, so we have cis trans, EZ, and syn anti. Right? So cis trans may we have. Okay, can you all tell me this isomer? What is this type of isomer? Which kind of isomerism will be applied here? Which kind of isomerism will be applied here? Chemistry is all about application. Which kind of isomerism will be applied here? गौर से देखो. EZ, excellent. And what kind of isomerism it is? EZ calculate कैसे करते हैं? I will show you quickly one important trick that will save your time. एक part ऐसे बना दो square, एक part square ऐसे बना दो. CH3 and Cl में which is more prioritized group? Cl. F and OH में which is more prioritized group? F and OH में which is more prioritized group? F. So both the functional groups of highest priority are on the opposite sides. Now people are confused between what? Cis trans EZ. हम लोग ऐसे बोलते हैं ना, cis trans EZ. So people think that cis is E, trans is Z. नहीं. It's ulta. E for enemy. E for enemy. So they are on the opposite side. So here highest priority groups are on the opposite side. So ये हो जाएगा E isomer. है ना? So this is what is asked in examination. They tell you that type of isomerism. So you should be well acquainted with this. है ना? Done, 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 done. So this was from isomerism. There is nothing else that is for now required from this PDF because usually, yeah, radiopharmaceuticals say this concept, very less chances that it will appear in exam, but they, since it is the first time this this organization is conducting, so we never know. You need to know the conversion between becquerel and curie. So 1 curie is 3.7 to 10 raised to 10 becquerels. Okay. And what is the unit of radioactivity? It is both curie and becquerel. ये दोनों ही units है radioactivity के. And what is the absorbed radiation unit? It is Roentgen. While the exposed radiation unit is radian. Please write this. People are confused in this topic. Roentgen and radian. So your Roentgen is basically absorbed. Radian is exposed. Exposed and absorbed. Both are different. So please be clearly distinguishing in these two topics. Please be very specific. है ना? Done, done. Shall we play with some questions? Shall we play with some questions? I have some questions for you. Quickly answer them in the chat box. The first question is over here. Let me move this. Okay. The first question here. Which of the following is a non-protein component of the enzyme? मैंने पढ़ाया नहीं है आज ये, but I want you all I wanted to check that how many of you have your enzymes clear. Which of the following is not? Okay. Okay. Yeah. So which of the following is non-protein content? So yes, cofactor and coenzyme, both A and B, they are both are non-protein components. And they both have no relation. So that's the right answer. Now next, lipases, proteases, glycosidases. They are belonging to which class? They are belonging to which class? आज ही पढ़ा है, अब भी पढ़ा है. How many people can answer this? Yes, hydrolysis. Ligase का example दे सकते हो? Glutathione peroxidase falls under which category? Glutathione peroxidase falls under which category? Glutathione peroxidase. And triose phosphate falls under which category? Triose phosphate falls under which category? Triose phosphate. Hexokinase falls under which category? Hexokinase falls under which category? Hexokinase falls under which category? सब भूल गए. So the right answer over here is hydrolysis. है ना? Now the next question, which of the following group is not a ortho-para-directing? I'm going to teach you all now after this session, after this MCQ session, but I thought that I should be asking this question before. Tell me, which of the following is a no? Read the question first. Please read the question अच्छे से. Take your time and read the question. Which of the following is not an ortho-para-directing group? Yes, yes, yes. NH2 is a electron donating group. अगर किसी को ये पता, if you all don't know ना what is orthopara-directing, simply use your common sense. OH is also electron donating. NH2 is also electron donating. NHCOC acid analyte is also electron donating. बचा कौन सा? NO2 is electron withdrawing. So how can an electron withdrawing group be a orthopara-directing group? It has to be a meta-directing group for sure, right? So please be aware about this, that NO2 is a electron withdrawing group and it is a meta-directing group. So the right answer is C, which is NO2. Last question. Southern blotting is a method that is used to check the presence of Southern blotting is a method that is used to check the presence of DNA. RNA के लिए which method is there? RNA के लिए which method is there? And protein के लिए which method is there? Do we have Western blotting for protein? Right? Blotting is for we have electrophoresis, SDS page. What is SDS? SDS का full form क्या है? What is the full form of SDS page? Electrophoresis, SDS page electrophoresis. What is the full form? Do we know? Do we know? SDS. So SDS stands for sodium dodecyl sulfate polyacrylamide gel electrophoresis. SDS stands for sodium dodecyl sulfate polyacrylamide gel electrophoresis. Clear? Crystal clear? No doubts? Right? So now, when I talk about RNA के लिए we have northern blotting. Okay? RNA के लिए we have northern blotting. Right? So I was talking about this orthopara-directing group. Okay, let's move. But before that, let me show you all one important formula. ये formula ना कभी मत भूलना. It might come in some of your examination. ठीक है? Hollow enzyme is equal to apoenzyme plus non-protein part. It can be coenzyme or a cofactor. It can be a coenzyme or a cofactor. Okay, please be okay with this. Please don't forget this. Hollow enzyme is equal to apoenzyme plus non-protein part. Now, non-protein can be coenzyme or a cofactor, and apoenzyme is a protein part. What is the functional unit of enzyme? Enzyme का functional unit क्या होता है? What is the functional unit of enzyme? Do we know the functional unit of enzyme? We don't know the functional unit of enzymes. That's very sad, yaar. That's very sad. Very sad. You have made me sad today. Yes, hollow enzyme is the functional unit of enzyme. Hollow enzyme. What is the basic functional unit of an organism? Basic structural and functional unit of any organism is basic structural and functional cell. Chalo, good, good. Chalo, clear? Now moving on to the organic chemistry part for today, which is probably the last part for today. So we have two kinds of groups. One is orthopara-directing. One is meta-directing. Orthopara-directing are activating or deactivating. Orthopara-directing are activating groups or deactivating groups. Tell me. Let me see how many people of you know. Orthopara-directing groups activate करते हैं एक ring को or they deactivate. And why am I asking this question? Because this was a GPAT 2023 question. Okay. All your orthopara-directing groups are activating groups. And all your meta-directing groups are deactivating groups. All your meta-directing groups are electron withdrawing groups. Orthopara-directing groups are electron donating groups. But there is one exception. किसी को कोई exception पता है इसमें? Anybody who knows the exception? Anybody who knows the exception? Have we heard about FCl-BRI? Halogens. Halogens are orthopara-directors. Agreed. But they are deactivating. वो रिंग पे ऑर्थोपैरा पोजीशन पे डायरेक्ट करता है. I hope we all are aware about orthopara meta position. पता चला मैं पढ़ा रहा हूँ, but you all are not aware of this ortho para position, है ना? Suppose over here there is OH, so this is ortho, है ना? OPM, ortho para meta, है ना? है ना? I hope we are clear about this at least. Halogens, very good. So halogens are orthoparadirecting, but they do not activate the ring, they deactivate the ring. This is important from this part. They deactivate the ring instead of activating. है ना? And here examples we have NH2OH, NHCOCH3. We have strongly three categories also. Anybody who knows जिसमें से strongly orthoparadirecting कौन सा है? Anybody who knows इसमें से strongly orthoparadirecting which groups are there, and one is moderately active, moderately. Which is strong and which is moderate? Very good. NH2 and OH both are strongly orthoparadirecting, while NHCOCH3 is a moderately orthoparadirecting. Okay, here we have NO2, all carbonyl compounds, ketone, aldehyde, acid, anhydrides. All your carbonyl compounds will fall under metadirective groups. Done? Clear है? Clear है? I hope we are clear. I hope we are clear. I hope no doubts. I hope we have no doubts left. Clear है ना? Clear है? This I need to start tomorrow because in the next lecture it's pharmacology. Okay, till then I'll be asking you a few questions, so please answer my questions. Okay, can you all tell me about the, I'll ask you previous slides ka question hai na? So can you all tell me that I'll give you all the name of a drug, you have to tell me the antidote, hai na? So the first drug, let me stop sharing my screen. Okay, I think so we can do one thing today and then we can stop, hai na? I think so we can start with one thing today. I wanted to show you all something from this slide. Just 1 minute. Please revise till then, till I'm finding. Please revise whatever we have done today. पिछले 1.5 hour में जो भी हुआ है. Please revise. Please revise. Yeah, these tests. ये टेस्ट ना नॉट फ्रीक्वेंटली आस्क्ड, बट बिफोर GPAT 2014 13, मतलब 10-12 साल पहले दिस यूज्ड टू बी आस्क्ड. So NBEMS is a medical field कैसे भी, so they will be interested in all your medical biomarkers and tests. So you should be very much acquainted with these tests minimum. Murex test for uric acid, ये तो सबको पता है ना. Murex test Cognosy में पढ़ा होगा. कैफीन के लिए, pseudo alkaloid के लिए भी है Murex test. Goffman's test for cholesterol. Gimmelin's test for bile what are the bile pigments? What is bile salts and what is bile pigments? Bile salts कौन से होते हैं? Bilirubin, biliverdin क्या है? Bilirubin, biliverdin क्या है? What is bilirubin and biliverdin? Are there bile pigments or there are very good bile pigments? Bile salts में we have taurocolate salts, we have sodium colate salts, we have deoxycolate salts. They are all bile salts. Then we have vitamin A के लिए specific test, car price reaction test. And Heme के लिए we have SCUMS test. Heme के लिए we have SCUMS test. Please make a note of this table. It has not been asked in previous 6-7 years, but chances that this time they might pick up questions from very old GPAT. So please make this table. Done, done. These are enzyme inducers. सुना है ना enzyme inducers के बारे में? Rifampicin, alcohol, nicotine, prednisolone, phenytoin, imipramine. Imipramine means SSRI, SNRI or SSRI plus SNRI both. It is selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, selective serotonin and norepinephrine or selective norepinephrine. Tell me. Antidepressant की category से. We don't know about this. SSRI है. Imipramine is SSRI. Fluoxetine, paroxetine is SSRI. I hope we are aware it is SNRI, selective norepinephrine reuptake inhibitor, and the metabolite desimipramine is a both selective norepinephrine as well as serotonin inhibitor. Don't forget this. And inhibitors may we have allopurinol, disulfiram, warfarin. isoniazid. The drugs that I'm marking are very important, okay? That is the reason I'm marking them. So you should read cimetidine. Cimetidine में कौन सी ring है? Which ring is present in cimetidine? Which ring is present in cimetidine? Can you all tell me the ring present in cimetidine? Imidazole ring. Very good. Very good. Imidazole ring can be detected via which which amino acid contains imidazole? Which amino acid contains imidazole ring? Histidine. Histidine can be detected via which biochemistry test? Histidine can be detected via which biochemistry test? Polys test. Excellent. Excellent. So this is how you link करना सीखो, है ना? The day you start linking, you will do well in life, है ना? ये कुछ न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर्स है, मतलब पार्किंसन में डोपामाइन कम होता है, सिजोफ्रेनिया में there is increase in the dopamine, Alzheimer में decrease in the acetylcholine, that is why we give tacrine, rivastigmine, ginkgo biloba, piracetam, pirabidil in as Alzheimer's disease, right? So these three are very important: Parkinson, Alzheimer, schizophrenia. Besides this, you can also remember depression. So you have SSRI, so serotonin hoga, SNRI, norepinephrine hoga, right? So these three you should know. And which region? Parkinson is substantia nigra. You call it SNPC, substantia nigra pars compacta. And Alzheimer's is in hippocampus. Alzheimer में the neural degenerate. They are all neurodegenerative dementia. Dementia. They are all neurodegenerative disease, but one occurs in the hippocampus, one occurs in the SNPC region. है ना? Substantia nigra, nigrostriatal pathway. Done. So that's it from my side. Now let's move on to your doubts. Does anybody have any doubt? Because in next lecture we'll be covering core ecology के पूरे 100 classifications, Cognosy का पूरा important secondary metabolites. So from them in the next 3 lectures, complete ecology and Cognosy. I'm finished with biochemistry, micro and biochem. So do you all have any doubts? Anything that you all want to ask? What was done in the previous lecture or something like that? Or we can stop for today. Any doubts? Pucho, kuch ho to. Exams is there in 2 months. I hope you all are preparing well. I shall take names. Let me know कौन attend करता है, so that you all also feel good. Akshata, Alfia, Anirudh, Anuja, Balaji, Chintu, Dev, Diksha, Dipali, Gehna, Gayatri, Haripriya. Sorry if I pronounce anybody's name wrong. Kirtana, Shirisha, Manisha, Mukund, Muzaina. I hope we are there. I hope we are preparing well. Any doubts? Please keep joining CliMed session with us every day for the next 15 days. It is exclusively for y'all, and we will be covering major portions what questions come up from our previous analysis. So you please subscribe to the channel, bell icon ko press kar lo, so that you don't miss out a single lecture as well. Pavni, Prerna, Ramsha, Rohan, Sai Priya, Sakshi, Satvika, Sidhu, Sita, Sneha, Harshita, Surashi, Vivek. I hope हम लोग हैं. I'm so sorry I cannot pronounce name correctly. है ना? I hope. Are there any doubts? Are there any doubts? Please repeat the cardinaloids and bufadinaloids part. Okay. So there are 2 types of cardiac glycosides. One is cardinaloid, one is bufadinaloids. है ना? Cardinaloids has 5-membered lactone ring, and it gives wavelength at 220 nanometers. I will share my screen. Just wait so that you can see it. So cardinaloids has a wavelength at 220 nanometer, and it has a lactone ring. While and the test, it gives all the cardiac glycoside test positive. Legal, Kedde, Raymond's, Keller-Killiani. है ना? Digitalis के लिए famous है Keller-Killiani. While bufadinaloids is 6-membered ring, it shows absorbance at 300 nanometers, and the example is squill, Indian squill. You call it jungli pyas. The synonym of squill is jungli pyas. And bufadinaloids are commonly known as chladenoids. Chladenoids. So please note this, the synonym as well. Cardinaloid is butanaloids. And bufa is, लोग इसी में confuse होता है. Bufa, buta में लगा देते हैं. No. Buta stands for 4 carbon containing and 1 oxygen containing. Penta stands for 5 carbon containing and 1 oxygen containing. Pentadienaloids and butadienaloids. Okay, I hope that clears your doubt. I hope that clears your doubt. Any other doubts, or we shall stop? And tomorrow Praveen sir will be taking one lecture or Aman sir on pharmaceutics and analysis. So attend the lecture well. Okay. We shall stop for today. Chalo. All the best to all of you all. Take care.